Good morning, everyone. I'm finally back. Oh my goodness, what a week it has been. And I don't even know where to start. Let's start with I got here, settled in, and there was so much going on. I was taking care of a little one again. It's a full-time job. It really is. And when I look on how every minute, every second of the day I just spend with my littlest granddaughter, who's now 3.5 months old, 3.5 months, little over 3 months old, and I don't see how mothers or fathers, if they've taken on the role of staying at home, I, I have any time to do anything else unless you're willing to hand off your children to a daycare. And I can't see how people there will actually really have the time to take care of a little one like that. Maybe some children babies just get used to it I don't know, or just cry all the time, or I'm not sure how that works. But all I can tell you as the grandma of that little one, I'm busy from as soon as she gets here in the morning. Yeah, my daughter brings her out here at 5 a.m. And she may sleep a little longer, this, that, yeah. And it's a, all I do is just get ready for when she wakes up and then be with her when she's awake, when she's asleep. I get things ready again. I'm just saying, it's like full time plus the house, which then, of course, I help with cleaning and cooking, which the cooking I totally enjoy. And I love organizing things. So, anyway, so I'm just busy from morning till late evening. And when dad comes home, my daughter works a 12-hour plus shift for so many days. And then she has some days off in between, which works out really nice. But it's an absolute 100% full-time job to keep the little one happy, entertained, taken care of. I said, I don't know how these babies and then growing into toddlers survive in daycare where they absolutely do not have that kind of care. Anyway, I'm just happy I can do this, and it's been an absolute joy. Then my husband came to visit, brought me a few more things, and we ended up going up to visit our youngest daughter, who has just moved into a new house. Beautiful house. She decorated it just like, oh my, everything had its place, and it was so beautiful. And they had a pear tree loaded down with pears in their backyard. So I got to take home a whole box of pears, which I'm going to do this with them and that with them, and of course, at 3 months old, they want to wait until she's 6 months old to feed her. I'm going to make some jars of pear mousse. Yes, yeah, pear sauce, organic, prepared by Grozy. Yeah, da da. Have that little one start off with good food to eat. Yes, as well. Well, anyway, so it's just been such a busy week, and I've been exhausted in the evening, just falling into bed and going, "Oh, you're gonna sleep." It's just but wonderful. I love every minute of it. Last night, my oldest granddaughter and I, we made rice paper dumplings. I saw a recipe online and we followed that. There was I didn't have any kimchi and I didn't have any tofu. So I replaced it. Oh, yeah. On our walk in the morning, we found, the little one and we found some mushrooms right in our front yard. And I'm looking at them going, I know these mushrooms, they're edible. I'm pretty darn sure they're edible. I was 99% sure they were edible. And I looked them up, and sure enough, they're rose gills. So again, I was 99% sure they were rose gills. And I thought, I'll just eat one myself first, right? And I did, and nothing happened. So, yeah, no, why would I take that chance? My daughter told my daughter, she says, now, Mom, if you're doing things like this, make sure you do that while somebody is around, being able to take care of the little one, just in case you do. Okay. I said, yeah, I said I ate it while you were here. Anyway, so instead of the tofu, I used these mushrooms, which were plenty of them out there. And instead of the kimchi, I used my the Jerusalem artichoke that I pickled. And for some reason, I know I didn't add that to it, or I can't remember. Did I add? It doesn't look like I added anything to it, because if you add any kind of peppers or even the cayenne pepper, that the powdered one, it'll show on the bottom. It doesn't show, and they've turned really spicy. And so anyway, so I used that instead of kimchi, and and then my oldest granddaughter, she helped me. She helped me prep everything and then wrap, and she wrapped them better than I did to begin with. Hers looked just perfect. I'm going, yeah, another born what cook, born to be cook or something. Anyway, so we made those together. She was so excited about it, and then you fry them up, or in some oil. You fry them so that the rice paper gets crispy, and then we made a gochujang sauce to go with it, and then we had the last cantaloupe, yes, here, that I cut up and added that to it, and it's delicious. And then my daughter's husband brought home. He came in and he says, "Don't say anything." And he had two uh, these delicious muffins in his hands, and went, to his wife, says, "Which hand do you want?" And then so there was two, and we quartered these, and everybody got a little piece for dessert afterwards. It was wonderful. It's just everybody worked together and all sat at the table eating, and it was just great. It's just one of those. So this morning, I have time finally. Yes, time. There is room for my Bible reading again. Oh my gosh! All right. Have some sad news. It's sad news, but that time was coming. We all knew it. It's what's going to happen. How was it going to happen? I have never yet lost a horse at the farm, so we didn't know what are you going to do with a big old animal like that when it passes away. And the one thing that you don't want is for them to pass away in the barn, because then you have to cut them up to get them out. Bo, our oldest one, 40 plus years old. We're not quite. We know he's definitely 40 this year, but we're not quite sure if he could be 45. He could be 43. We're not sure because we weren't told the right age when we got him. Vet confirmed that when she looked at him and said, "That's not a 16-year-old horse. That's how old he was supposedly when we got him." She says, "That horse has to be 20 years old plus. I can tell on his teeth." So, so we're not sure, but he was at least 40. And he was fine. Went out every day. He was not in the barn, not feeling well, and we're going, "Oh, I don't know." He was fine one day. Then the next day he declined, started to lay down, wouldn't eat, wouldn't drink anything, and still went that night. Yes, they're still out at night, still summertime. We put him out at night because it's much cooler, and horses have excellent eyesight at night. And then we put him in a cool barn during the day and in the summer heat. And he went out with them, went all the way to the back pasture, which is about a good mile to walk, and he passed away that night. and so he passed away night before last. And they realized he didn't come home. They went looking for him, and they found him. First of all, it took a short amount of time for him to pass. He wasn't in pain. He was, or didn't seem to be in pain. It was just his time, and he was ready, and he went in a very, very short amount of time from being okay to passing on. And he passed away in the back pasture, which is a great place to also bury him, number one. And he didn't pass away in the barn. Yes. So, best possible way to go. It's a great horse. It was a lawn ornament, more or less, for most of the time that we had him, because he also came with problems with his legs and feet, which were not apparent when we got him, you know, how it is. And I managed to take care of that really well with the St. John's wort and the St. John's wort oil and the comfrey tincture. Yes, yeah. And so there it is. This horse had a great life. And then he had this, after years and years and years, as far as I know, he was just in a really small paddock. And people were afraid to ride him because he had some bad habits. But otherwise, he was a sweet horse. And yeah, so now he's gone. Horse heaven somewhere? Yes, who knows? Most animals' spirit and body just go right back into the atmosphere and the ground. That's how it is. Yes, I do believe that some animals that have a really specific connection to their owner, where actual love was really developed, they do retain their spirit and meet up again with you in spirit world. Yeah, guess you'll see. Knowing on how I still sometimes hear one of our dogs, depending on which one it is, doing its thing, or I'm going, I know that's Dewey. I know this is Dewey still doing whatever out there. I know this is Lance chasing after rain and thunder. Even we had a cat, our first cat here, Woody, who ended up being 16 years old, and he just went out into the woods to die. They never even knew where he was or found him, or he was just suddenly gone. Also, to his last day, he was just okay, never laid around being sick or whatever. And even with Woody, sometimes I kind of, gosh, that feels like Woody around. Something's happening here, right? Yes? Anyway, let's get going. I don't have much else to say otherwise. I haven't even had time. I hadn't had time to go and look what's going on. I'm praying for Britain right now as well, and England. There's just a lot of stuff going on there. It looks like, I don't know, it seems like nobody really much pays attention to it. I mean, there's people paying attention to it, but the reasons they're paying attention to it, I'm thinking, wow, they've really got problems going on there. All I can do is pray for the people, right? Yes, hopefully the sides that are against each other or have conflict with each other will find a common denominator to do what? To take care of the ones that are really creating the problem, right? Yes, we have. You know why we have laws? So we can get along in society, really, when it comes down to it. Most laws are good. Most laws are not for nothing. And if people follow them, right, and just people are unhappy with that, then just go back to the Ten Commandments and say, okay, well, we all agree on this. So the ones that are creating the problems, we need to address that, not bang heads against each other. Yeah? The ones that, okay, well, we want all of this, or we want none of this, or you know what I mean? Well, anyway. And these are supposedly my strongest glasses, and I'm starting to have a hard time reading with them. So I need to find a place and get I need stronger glasses. Oh, these are a little better. I don't know if these are just a little off. They're supposed to be the same strength. Okay. We are in the first book of Maccabees, 14, Eulogy of Simon. In the year 172, King Demetrius assembled his forces and marched into Media to raise help for the fight against Trypho. When Arsaces, king of Persia and Media, heard that Demetrius had entered his territory, he sent one of his generals to capture him alive. The general defeated the army of Demetrius, seized him, and brought him to Arsaces, who imprisoned him. The country was at peace throughout the days of Simon. Oh. He sought the good of his nation, and they were all well pleased with his authority as with his magnificence. Throughout his life, the crown his titles to glory, he took Joppa and made it a harbor, gaining access to the Mediterranean isles. He enlarged the frontiers of his nation, keeping his mastery over the homeland, resettling a host of captives. He conquered Gezer, Besser, and the citadel, ridding them of every impurity, and no one could resist him. The people farmed their land in peace. The land gave its produce, the trees of the plain their fruit. The elders sat at ease in the squares. All their talk was of their prosperity. The young men wore splendid armor. He kept the town supplied with provisions and furnished with fortifications, until his fame resounded to the ends of the earth. He established peace in the land, and Israel knew great joy. Each man sat under his own vine and his own fig tree, and there was no one to make them afraid. No enemy was left in the land to fight them. The very kings of those times had been crushed. He encouraged the afflicted members of his people, suppressing every wicked man and renegade. He strove to observe the law, and gave new splendor to the temple, enriching it with many sacred vessels. It gives us very little here about Simon. It's interesting on how his brothers, Judas and Jonathan, every battle, this and that, I don't know what, right? Was given. Here, we get a little an ode to him on what he has all done, this and that, and how things were well. But it doesn't give us any specifics when it comes down to it, right? How did he get all there, this and that? Okay, we know a little ahead of time. Interesting. And Simon was actually the one that Mattathias, their father, put in charge. You will be the one, because you're the wise one. Interesting? Renewal of the alliances with Sparta and with Rome. When it became known in Rome and as far as Sparta that Jonathan was dead, people were deeply grieved. Really? Why? None of them really knew him. You know what, that false grief that people have going about people passing this and that, you know what, that just disgusts me, okay? I'm just saying, no, I'm not taking it back. I see it too often. No, Eek. But as soon as they heard that his brother Simon had succeeded him as high priest, and was master of the country and the cities in it, they wrote to him on bronze tablets to renew the treaty of friendship and alliance which they had made with his brothers Judas and Jonathan. And the document was read out before the assembly in Jerusalem. This is the copy of the letter sent by the Spartans. Now, either Rome or Sparta, didn't seem to be involved at all in the conflict that they had, even though they're allies. Well, whatever. Let's just see. This is just, not even. The rulers and the city of Sparta to Simon, the high priest, and to the elders and priests and the rest of the people of the Jews, greetings. The ambassadors whom you sent to our people have informed us of your glory and prosperity, and we are delighted with their visit. Aha, so they found out because Simon reached out first. Sounds like it. We have recorded their declarations in the minutes of our public assemblies as follows. Numenius, son of Antiochus, and Antipater, son of Jason, ambassadors of the Jews, came to us to renew their friendship with us. And it was the people's pleasure to receive these personages with honor and to deposit a copy of their statements in the public archives, so that the people of Sparta might preserve a record of them. A copy was also made for Simon the high priest. After this, Simon sent Numenius to Rome as the bearer of a large golden shield weighing 1,000 mina to confirm the alliance with them. They're so materialistic. Blech. Send them the 10 Commandments. How about that? Official honors decreed for Simon. When these events were reported to our people, they said, "What mark of appreciation shall we give to Simon and his sons? He stood firm, he and his brothers in his father's house. He fought off the enemies of Israel." Huh? Oh, okay. And secured its freedom. So they recorded an inscription on bronze tablets and set it up on pillars on Mount Zion. This is a copy of the text. Hey, what are we doing here? Why do people have the need to put someone on a pedestal like that? And why do people feel the need that they deserve it? I'm not getting this. I don't get it. I will never understand that. I know that it causes too much havoc because people are so finicky. The 18th of Elul, in the year 172, being the 3rd year of Simon, eminent high priest. How the heck did he become a high priest? It doesn't say anything like it's. He's appointed as a high priest, as kings are appointed as kings. What are the qualifications of Simon to be a high priest, or Jonathan, for that matter? Doesn't say. But we know what those qualifications are supposed to be. We were given the instructions by God. In Azaramel, in the grand assembly of priests and people, of princes of the nation and of elders of the country, we are acquainted with the matters following. When there was almost incessant, see, now the description of how to, I'm so not interested. I couldn't freaking care less. When there was almost incessant fighting in the country, Simon, son of Matthias, a priest of the line of Joarib, and his brothers courted danger and withstood their nation's enemies to safeguard the integrity of their sanctuary and of the law, and so brought their nation great glory. High priests fighting at the front line. A priest of the line of Joarib and his brothers. Okay, so we're giving a little bit here, but as I said, it's not enough. For when Jonathan, having rallied his nation and become its high priest, and having then been gathered to his ancestors, also they went from generals to high priests. Weird. It's weird. The enemy planned to invade the country, intending to devastate their territory and to lay hands on their sanctuary. Simon next came forward to fight for his nation, spending much of his personal wealth on arming his nation's fighting men and providing their pay. How did he get all that personal whatever? Personal wealth. I bet you that guy didn't work a day in his life. I'm just saying. Except for fighting. All right. Fortifying the towns of Judea as well as Beth-sur on the Judean frontier, where the enemy arsenal had formerly been, and stationing in it a garrison of Jewish soldiers. Fortifying Joppa on the coast and Gezer on the borders of Azotus, a place formerly inhabited by the enemy, founding a Jewish colony there, and providing the settlers with everything they needed to set them on their feet. In consequence of which the people, aware of Simon's loyalty and of the glory which he was determined to win for his nation, have made him their ethnarch, and high priest, for all his services and for the integrity and loyalty which he has shown towards his nation, and for having by every means sought to enhance his people's power. I wonder what would have happened if Simon would have been in charge right away after Matthias passed away. Because, of course, he had to clean up a lot of what his brothers kind of messed up. Okay, just saying. And, yeah, so I get it. And he still managed to. That's interesting. Simon. It has fallen to him in his time to expel the foreigners from his country, including those in the city of David in Jerusalem, who had converted it into a citadel for their own use, for which they would sally out to defile the surroundings of the sanctuary and to violate its sacred character. Yeah, like the Israelites didn't do that too. To station Jewish soldiers there instead for the security of the country and the city, and to heighten the walls of Jerusalem. And since King Demetrius has heard that the Romans call the Jews their friends, allies, and brothers, and that they have given an honorable reception to Simon's ambassadors, and furthermore that the Jews and priests are happy that Simon should, pending the advent of a genuine prophet, be their ethnarch and high priest for life. Therefore he has confirmed him in the high priestly office, has raised him to the rank of friend, and has showered great honors on him, also confirming him as their commander-in-chief, with the right to appoint officials to oversee the fabric of the sanctuary and to administer the country, munitions, and fortresses. He is to have personal charge of the sanctuary and to be obeyed by all. All official documents in the country must be drawn up in his name, and he may assume the purple and may wear golden ornaments. Furthermore, it is against the law for any member of the public or of the priesthood to contravene any of these enactments or to contest his decisions. Or to convene a meeting anywhere in the country without his permission, or to assume the purple or wear the golden brooch. So what? Dictator. And anyone acting contrary to or rejecting any article of these enactments is liable to punishment. Yet the people were so happy, right? Yes? What does this sound like? Right? Yes? Silly. What's the big deal? What, people can come and say, hey, I have something to ask. I have some concerns here. No, you're not allowed to do that. And then you're not allowed to wear certain colors and I'm just saying. It's dictatorship. And since the people have unanimously agreed to grant Simon the right to act as aforesaid, well, if you didn't agree, you're going to get killed. And since Simon, for his part, has given his assent and has consented to assume the high priestly office and to be commander-in-chief and ethnarch of the Jews and their priests, and to preside over all. So be it now enacted that this record be inscribed on bronze tablets. Oh! Someone's playing God here. And be erected at some conspicuous place within the precincts of the temple. And that copies be deposited in the treasury for Simon and his descendants. I don't know if you guys just got this. What is being put in the temple on bronze tablets? What should be the most high in the temple? On what tablets? Yes. It's made the sound very palatable, and yet it is absolutely wrong to do so. Then they are disregarding which commandments? Number 1 and number 2. Basically, it sounds to me like the Israelites went from wanting their own king, they now, in a way, have established their own God in Simon. That's what I'm hearing out of this. Oh, but that's what I'm hearing out of this. Just saying. So, it's 30 minutes. I have got things to do. We are going to the farmer's market today. Finally, I told my daughter here, stop buying food. Stop. Don't. If it's milk, yes. If it's eggs, okay. If it's things that I cook with that I need on a more or less daily basis or something, but otherwise, stop. You have so much food in your pantry. There's so much stuff around that needs to be used up. We have great harvest in the garden here. Stop buying stuff. Right? Yes, and it's great. As I said, there's everything I've cooked so far. It's all already here. Just needs to be used up in a creative way. Yes, yeah. Anyway, so we're going to the farmers market. Yeah. Also, I want to see if or even over the winter, they have either milk available or eggs at the farms around here, where then one can contact them or go visit them. They're close by here instead of having to go to the store. That's what I like. And both my daughter and my son-in-law are very excited about. Yeah, 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 yeah. When you're working as much as these two are working, you have very little time to do anything else, and one needs a little encouragement, right, to go the extra few feet to do what? Yes, support the local people, and I suggest that to everyone. Yes, it's going to be a little more expensive. Quality over quantity. How about that? I say that I have seen it in every refrigerator, every pantry, the amount of food, then that also gets wasted. Don't do that, is all I have to say. Small, good quality from the people around you. Yeah? Yes? Don't eat this. Okay, not gonna go there. Good food is so good. Fresh, well prepared food. Homegrown things. Yes? Truly free range chicken, eggs. Meat that you can buy here a cow and or half a cow, right? And they butcher it up in the way that you want, and these cows were raised properly, had a proper life, had room to move around and graze and in a little herd or whatever. You know what I mean? One of the greatest things it was when we had a pig that we raised for food. We raised it for food, not a, and it was a big 400-pound pig, and we got over almost 300 pounds of meat and this and that out of it. And it was great. It was the best pork I've ever eaten. I knew what this pig ate. I knew it was healthy. I knew, just say, it wasn't loaded up with antibiotics and I don't know what. And because of the room that it had, I knew it didn't have worms. It didn't have this. And pigs end up with this trichinosis, and I don't know what it's called, all this, because of the way that they're being kept. Pigs are actually very, very clean animals. Okay? So again, when people, you're like a pig because they live in a mess or this or that. Well, sorry, it's not the pig. Don't compare these people to pigs, because pigs are actually very, very clean animals if they have the room to choose or to be able to do, to actually be who they are in a way, right? Or how they live. So, yeah, they don't actually use the toilet just wherever. They have, even in the outside, they have a spot where they go. And then you can take care of it every so often, throw some sawdust or leaves or stuff, turn it over a little bit, use it as a manure as well. It's really great manure if it isn't contaminated. Okay, just saying, see? Anywho, so that's what we're doing today. I'm going to go and hopefully make some good relationships. Also on our walk, I saw there was somebody had an apple tree. Yes. Anyway, God willing, I don't have to go and knock and say, hey, God willing, I will see these people out and say, hey, Wow, I love your apple trees. Did you use them all? Yeah, yes. It'll happen. If it's meant to be, it will happen. Fresh applesauce for the little one. Okay. That's it. Yes, it's been a while. Uh, and uh, what a time. What amazing. Love, love, love. I feel in so many ways I have to thank True Mother for it all. True Mother to me is my guide, my hero on earth, the strength, even though she is so many thousands of miles away. Her strength, I feel, just envelops the whole earth, the whole of mankind. That's what I feel. I feel so strong as a woman right now in all and everything that I do. Mm. I feel like with True Mother, there's a unity happening between us. Yes? Oh, all the other women? No. I feel that unity between True Mother and I and True Mother, because we share many different things in our lives as women. And the path that she's walking now, finishing up, it gives so much hope. It gives me so much hope for all the girls and women out there, for the boys too, for the men, of course, but the men have true father, yes, in a way. I know that they are united as true parents. I know that I get it. But we're still on a restoration path, all of us. And as a woman, to feel this kind of connection, yes, to the heavenly side of God, that the feminine, heavenly side of God, through True Mother, is fabulous. Feels uh, so freeing. That's what it is. People talk about freedom, right? Freedom of this, freedom of that. It's all just talk. When you really feel it, most amazing thing, most amazing feeling, most amazing, and hope. Hope for, yes, what? To live together, everyone, as mankind should, according to the ideal of our Heavenly Parent, in peace and harmony, where laws aren't needed anymore, where we won't need the Ten Commandments even, because we know it's within us. We are created in the image of God. It is naturally in our original mind. It is within us to do right always. Yes? I'll leave you with this. May Heavenly Parent bless and protect you and embrace you with love. And I will talk to you all tomorrow.